Happy lunch hour, guys. Or maybe. Okay. So I'm going to give you some information and some intel of maybe something that you want to focus on right now. I had a conversation with somebody this morning in regards to building, construction, or whatever. And this also goes into play for the rest of us. Now, I'm going to start with this one weather. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm supposed to have a big rainstorm that hits this evening that we're supposed to get about 2 inches of rain. Saturday, we're supposed to have snow. Okay. So, storms. We're in springtime. All right. This is when stormy weather hits and tornadoes and all this sort of stuff. Well, a friend of mine talking to somebody who's in the construction trade, talking to somebody who works at or is part of the Homeowners Association of Tennessee. Or I'm sorry, not the homeowners, the Home Builders Association of Tennessee. Okay, so figure construction of new homes. Well, they had a meeting in Knoxville, and the consensus in this meeting, we're going to talk about the supply chain here real quick and how it affects you. We are one storm away from no power. Not talking about an EMP, not talking about a nuclear blast, not talking about a cyber attack on the grid. We're talking about Mother Nature deciding, hey, we're going to have a thunderstorm. I'm not trying to freak anybody out here, but this is what they were told. There are no backup grinder pumps, say, to take the waste to go into your septic system or whatever it would be, to replace grinder pumps that go bad. There are no temporary meters for new home builders to put up when they're building a house, to get power to it. The answer was, gee, you have to go run a generator. Okay. Think of all the power tools that are used in construction of a house. There's no meters, the meter itself for the electric company to hook up. So the only way to do it would be put a generator out there and run with gasoline for running all the saws and, God knows what that you use on building a house, all the tools. But the most important one was there's no transformers in the supply chain to be had. And what he was telling me is that they've got one subdivision that they've been building that they've been working on for 3 years, okay? And there's no transformers to get power to that subdivision. Now, I asked specifically, is this just a Knoxville thing? And common sense would tell me, gee, if we don't have any in Knoxville, what are the builders doing? They're going to go talk to people in Nashville. They're going to go talk to people in Chattanooga. They're going to go talk to people in Lexington, Louisville, Atlanta, whatever it would be. There ain't any anywhere. So this is not just a local thing. This is countrywide. Think of any business that you potentially have. If the product isn't there, you get it from somewhere else. So if the nearest transformer is in Olympia, Washington, you buy it from whoever's got it in Olympia, Washington, and you have it sent to Knoxville, Tennessee. Guess what? There ain't any there either. So this is where you get into a situation of what they were saying. One storm before it's lights out. If the transformer down the street from you or anywhere in the local area gets hit by lightning, whatever, power surge. I mean, we've all had it happen. You all hear that pop, and that's a transformer going. And you call up the electric company, and the electric company goes, yeah, great, 6-8 hours, we'll have it fixed. No, they don't have a new transformer to put in. So if they're able to repair the one that is there, that's a possibility. If it got fried, there's no way to repair it. There's no parts to do it with. This is a critical supply chain issue. Now, in talking to him, priority is given to existing homes for parts over new construction, which makes sense, okay? There's people living in existing homes. We need to get power to them before we need to get power to a home that is being built up for sale. So in that respect, we have a little bit of luck living in your apartment, your house, whatever it would be. But this is something that we need to be concerned with, because time of year we're in, and if there are no backup parts, power outages could be a lot longer than normal. Now, the next part you think about is this. If there aren't any transformers, if there aren't any grinder pumps, if there aren't any meters, what does that do? Well, the home builders aren't going to continue to build homes if they don't have the power to do it. Okay? And obviously, if they can't hook up power to a completed home, they can't sell it. So they will stop building homes, which of course now leads to how many people unemployed. The entire construction trade, plumbing trade, electrical trade, whatever would be, if there's no homes going up because there's no power, because the builders can't do it. I mean, you start snowballing. If there's no power, the builders aren't going to build homes, which means the woodworking guys, the framing guys, the electrical guys, the plumbers, the concrete guys, whatever, they don't go to work. Okay, so now that puts a drain on the economy, and we wind up having massive unemployment because of that. These are, I know somebody said last night, oh, gee, you should turn this into the Pinball News Channel. No, this is stuff we need to know, guys, because I didn't know this, and I'm betting you guys didn't know this either. But that is how close we are to an event that we don't even think about. Everybody talks about EMPs or cyber attacks or whatever it is. How about a thunderstorm? A thunderstorm could be all it takes to kick the power out. So make sure you have some sort of backup. Whether you have a gas generator, make sure you have the gas. If you have a solar generator, make sure you know how to use it, make sure you know how to charge it, whatever it would be, to somehow keep the lights on, okay? And those little solar lights outside are perfect for something like that, okay? That doesn't take rocket science. Stick it in the ground during the day, let it sun up, and you let it charge up, and then bring it in the house in the evening, and you've got some light, at least to eat dinner by or do whatever, okay? But the most important things is refrigerators and freezers, okay? Keeping that food that you have from spoiling, because at the cost of food, obviously that could be extremely expensive. Something to focus on right now because of this. Like I said, this is something I hadn't heard about. I mean, y'all know that storms can take out the power, but we all kind of take it for granted that the electric company will come out and fix it. If the electric company doesn't have the parts, they can't fix it. All right? It's not like they've got some sort of little magic wand and go, poof, you have electricity again. Think about stuff like that. What are your backups? Okay? 2 is 1, 1 is none. 1 is the grid. What is 2? If the grid goes out, what's your backup? Do you have a fail-safe plan? All of a sudden, you could go, well, I'm going to can all my meat that's in my freezer. All right, I've got 2 7-cubic-foot freezers. That's a lot of freaking meat. And like I do, it takes 90 minutes to can 7 quarts in a canner, okay? I wouldn't be able to can all that meat fast enough before it spoiled. I know what you're going to say. It's like, oh, freezers will stay cold for a while. Yeah, but not forever. So who knows how long the power's out. Power's out for a few days, you're going to start losing meat. That's goes without saying. Have some sort of backup, guys. This is something to focus on, because this is one that could really catch us, bite us in the butt, that nobody thinks about. Gee, it's a thunderstorm. Poof. You don't have power, and it's a week. I've told you guys, and some of you guys that live up in New England remember that ice storm on Halloween or Halloween week. Oh, what was it? Probably about 10 years ago. It was probably around 2012 or whatever. The power was out for a week. All right. I mean, again, you talk about blizzard of 78. A lot of us, I was a kid. Okay, I was 12. but I still remember it. But, you get those long-term power outages. I mean, I'll just remind you of this one. Look at Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. That was over a year ago. And there's still places without power, guys. Food for thought. Something to focus on somehow. At least the fridge and the freezer. Fortunately, it's not cold for the most part anymore. We're not talking about 0-degree temperatures, so we don't have to worry about the heat that much. But this is something to really focus on. Have a good afternoon. Pinball out.